The Amish are true experts in food storage, blending generations of wisdom with resourceful practices. Their time-tested methods could inspire a whole new way of organizing your pantry. From everyday salt to spices that age like fine wine, here are 20 foods that might just outlive your car, your smartphone, or even your mortgage. Let's start with honey, the ultimate long-lasting champion. Archaeologists exploring ancient Egyptian tombs made an incredible discovery. Pots of honey still perfectly edible after thousands of years. Suddenly, those best buy dates on grocery store honey seem a little unnecessary, don't they? So, what makes honey the MVP of the food world? Here's the secret. Bacteria can't survive without water, and honey has so little moisture and so much sugar that it's essentially a no-go zone for them. It's like trying to pitch a tent in the middle of a desert. Not going to happen. Plus, honey naturally contains its own antibacterial properties, making it a fortress against spoilage. The Amish figured this out long ago. For them, honey isn't just a sweetener for tea, though it's used generously there. They knead it into bread dough, soothe sore throats with it, and even blend it into homemade skincare products. While many of us rely on a variety of store-bought items, they tap into honey's multi-purpose magic. But even honey has its Achilles heel: heat. Leave your honey somewhere warm, and it can transform into a sticky science experiment. Keep it in a cool, dark place, though, and it'll remain flawless for longer than you can remember where you put those gift cards. And if it crystallizes, a fancy term for turning grainy and solid, don't toss it. Simply soak the jar in warm water, and it'll be as good as new. Moving on to dried fruit, a preservation method the Amish have mastered long before modern dehydrators were a thing. Forget overly sugary store-bought raisins. The Amish let nature take the lead, using the sun to transform fresh produce into naturally sweet snacks. Imagine an abundance of apples, peaches, or berries on the verge of spoiling. Instead of letting them go to waste, the Amish slice them up, lay them out on wooden racks or clean screens, and let the sun work its magic. As the water evaporates, the fruit becomes a nutrient-dense snack packed with intensified flavors. Think of dried apples, apricots, or pears as nature's candy, delicious and long-lasting. To get it right, you need patience and thoroughness. The fruit must be dried until it's leathery dry, not just slightly wrinkled. Otherwise, lingering moisture invites mold, and no one wants that in their pantry. Once dried, the Amish store the fruit in airtight containers, keeping it cool and dark. Properly done, these fruity treasures can last months, if you don't eat them all first. Now, let's talk about salt, another superstar in food preservation. While we sprinkle it on fries, the Amish use it as a tool to preserve entire meals. Salt essentially blocks bacteria, acting like a no trespassing sign for anything that might spoil food. The Amish use salt to cure meats, pickle vegetables, and keep their pantry stocked year-round. They prefer canning and pickling salt, which is pure sodium chloride, over table salt that often contains additives. Stored in wooden or ceramic containers in dry conditions, salt is nearly indestructible, and one of the most affordable pantry staples around. Next up, dried beans, the pantry's unsung heroes. These protein-packed little powerhouses can last for decades. In fact, beans found in old Amish homesteads were still edible after 50 years. Properly stored in airtight containers and a cool, dry spot, beans are practically immortal. What makes beans special is their versatility. After an overnight soak in water, they transform from hard pebbles into tender, flavorful additions for soups, stews, or salads. The Amish have a saying, "A pantry without beans is like a winter without a coat." And they're right. Beans are essential for nutritious, long-lasting meals. Partnering perfectly with beans is rice, the ultimate pantry staple. Properly stored white rice can last over 25 years, making it a true survivor in the food world. The Amish keep it simple. Sealed containers in a cool, dry space. With no oils to spoil and no need for refrigeration, white rice stays fresh and ready to cook. When you combine beans and rice, you get a meal that's hearty, nourishing, and shelf-stable for years. The Amish make the most of this pairing, turning leftovers and garden vegetables into satisfying dishes. Finally, sugar rounds out the list. Much like honey, sugar is a preservation powerhouse. Its ability to draw out moisture keeps food safe from spoilage. The Amish use sugar for everything from baking to preserving fruits like strawberries and peaches. Stored in an airtight container and kept dry, sugar can last indefinitely. From sweeteners to staples, these timeless foods show us the power of simple, practical storage. With a little Amish-inspired wisdom, your pantry could become a treasure trove of lasting, versatile ingredients. The Amish have mastered the art of stocking up on food, and their time-tested techniques can completely revolutionize how you think about your pantry. From simple staples like salt to spices that improve with age, these 20 foods can outlast your smartphone, car, and maybe even your mortgage. Let's dive in. Honey. The eternal sweetener. Honey is the ultimate survivor of the food world. Archaeologists have uncovered pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that are still perfectly edible after thousands of years. Forget those expiration dates on grocery store honey. This golden treasure doesn't play by those rules. So, what makes honey practically immortal? The answer lies in its composition. Honey is low in water but high in sugar, creating an environment where bacteria just can't thrive. Imagine trying to set up camp in a desert. It's not happening. Plus, honey has natural preservatives that further boost its shelf life. The Amish have long understood honey's value, using it for more than just sweetening tea. They bake it into bread, soothe sore throats with it, and even make it a key ingredient in homemade skincare. Honey is their all-in-one solution. However, even honey has a weakness: heat. Store it in a warm spot, and it might crystallize or lose some of its magic. Keep it cool and dark, and it'll stay pristine indefinitely. If your honey does crystallize, no worries. Just place the jar in warm water, and it'll return to its smooth golden state. Sun-dried fruits, nature's candy. While many of us grab preservative-packed dried fruits from the store, the Amish have perfected the art of natural dehydration. When they've got an abundance of fresh apples, peaches, or berries, they lay them out on wooden racks or screens and let the sun do its magic. No added sugar, no chemicals, just intensified flavor and nutrients locked in. Properly dried fruit, think leather dry, not just slightly wrinkled, can last months without refrigeration. The Amish carefully store their sun-dried treasures in cool, dark places, ensuring they stay delicious and mold-free. From chewy apple rings to tangy apricots, these treats make for healthy snacks and a taste of summer in the dead of winter. Salt. Food's oldest ally. Salt has been preserving food for millennia. It's a natural barrier against bacteria, drawing out moisture from meats and vegetables to prevent spoilage. The Amish rely on salt, not just for seasoning, but for keeping their pantry stocked year-round. Whether it's pork or green beans, they've mastered the balance of using just the right amount for preservation. The secret? The Amish prefer pure canning or pickling salt, free of additives like anti-caking agents that can cloud brines or alter colors. They store their salt in dry, sealed containers, ensuring it's always ready for action. It's an affordable and reliable preservation tool that never spoils. Dried beans, the protein. Powerhouse. Dried beans are the marathon runners of pantry staples. Properly stored, they can last for decades, retaining their nutritional value. The Amish know this well, often finding dried beans in old homesteads that are still fit for cooking after 50 years. Airtight containers and a cool, dry environment keep these protein-packed powerhouses ready to transform into hearty soups, stews, or casseroles. Beans may look like hard little pebbles, but after soaking in water overnight, they turn into tender, flavorful morsels. For the Amish, a pantry without beans is like a winter without a coat. Unthinkable. Rice, the pantry's Swiss Army knife. White rice is a survival food legend, staying good for over 25 years when stored properly. Unlike brown rice, which spoils faster due to its oils, white rice is pure simplicity. The Amish store it in sealed containers in a cool, dry place, giving it an almost infinite shelf life. Rice pairs perfectly with beans, leftover meats, or garden vegetables, making it the ultimate team player in the kitchen. Sugar, sweet and immortal. Sugar is the pantry's sweet immortal. Properly stored, it doesn't spoil, it simply keeps going. The Amish use sugar not only for desserts, but also as a natural preservative for fruits. Moisture is sugar's only enemy, turning it into a hard block, so airtight storage is key. The Amish often favor glass jars or food-grade containers to keep sugar in top condition. Wheat berries are like tiny capsules of nutrition, packed with fiber, protein, and vitamins. Properly stored, these whole grains can last for decades. The Amish grind their wheat berries fresh as needed, ensuring their bread is packed with nutrients. Stored in cool, dark places and airtight containers, wheat berries remain a reliable food source for years. Add oxygen absorbers for extra longevity, and you've got a grain that can outlast just about anything. Apple cider vinegar, ACV, is the Amish kitchen's secret weapon. Already fermented, it doesn't spoil. It just keeps improving with age. The Amish use ACV for everything from pickling vegetables to cleaning surfaces, and even as a home remedy for various ailments. Stored in glass bottles or ceramic crocks, ACV needs little maintenance other than a cool, dark spot to call home. The mother, in homemade ACV, those floating strands, is packed with beneficial bacteria, making it both a preservative and a health booster. The Amish turn their summer tomato harvest into jars of vibrant, nutritious goodness. Canning locks in the flavor and boosts nutrients like lycopene. With careful preparation, adding a touch of lemon juice for acidity, the Amish ensure their tomatoes are safe to store for 3 to 5 years. Properly canned tomatoes become the foundation for soups, stews, and sauces, bringing a taste of sunshine to any winter meal. Cornmeal is an MVP in the Amish pantry, lasting decades when stored in airtight, moisture-free conditions. Its versatility shines in everything from cornbread to crispy coatings for fried foods. Cornmeal is a nod to culinary tradition, cherished by Native Americans and carried forward by the Amish. Here's the rewritten script, with unique wording and changed phrasing. Preserving the Amish way, timeless traditions for lasting food. Let's dive into the fascinating world of Amish food preservation. It's not just about storing food, it's a carefully honed craft passed down for generations. Here's how the Amish managed to keep their pantry stocked with fresh-tasting, long-lasting staples that could see you through years of living off the grid. Wheat berries, the bread maker's gold. The Amish know that wheat berries are the cornerstone of a self-sufficient kitchen, but these little kernels come with demands. A cool, dark resting place where they won't overheat. Their own tightly sealed, airtight container, plastic, metal, or glass will do, as long as it locks out air. No water. One drop could invite mold faster than you can say disaster. The Amish store wheat berries like royalty, using food-grade buckets and sometimes adding oxygen absorbers. This meticulous care means wheat berries can stay fresh for decades. Properly stored, today's harvest could provide flour for bread your grandchildren will bake. Start small if you're new to this. Seal a few pounds of wheat berries in airtight containers, stash them in a cool, dry spot, think basement, not the bathroom, and consider adding oxygen absorbers for extra insurance. Apple cider vinegar. The Amish liquid gold apple cider vinegar, ACV, is more than just a pantry item. It's an all-purpose powerhouse. Fermented by nature, it's already spoil-proof and ready to last a lifetime. The Amish don't use just any vinegar. Their ACV is traditionally made, complete with the mother, a cloudy mixture of good bacteria that makes it more potent. This tangy elixir preserves vegetables, cleans counters, and even acts as a health tonic. Unlike most pantry staples, ACV doesn't require refrigeration. Store it in a glass or ceramic bottle, and it will outlast just about anything else in your kitchen. Canned tomatoes, summer in a jar. Tomatoes, the Swiss Army knife of the Amish kitchen, are canned at their ripest to ensure every bit of summer's flavor is captured. Each tomato is hand-picked at its peak, washed and preserved whole, or diced with a touch of lemon juice for safety. Stored in cool, dark cellars, these jars of tomato goodness can last 3 to 5 years. Packed with vitamins A, C, and lycopene, which becomes even more potent when canned, Amish canned tomatoes are as nutritious as they are delicious. They're perfect for soups, stews, sauces, and more. Cornmeal, the pantry MVP. Cornmeal, a staple since Native American times, has found a permanent place in Amish kitchens. Properly stored, it can last for decades. Stone-ground cornmeal, though rich in natural oils, is used quickly. For longer-term storage, degerminated cornmeal, stripped of perishables, is the go-to choice. The Amish keep their cornmeal in airtight containers, protecting it from moisture and light. It's a versatile ingredient, transforming into everything from cornbread to fried chicken coating, and even pizza crust. Canned meat. Protein preservation. Perfected for frozen meats. The Amish rely on pressure canned beef, chicken and pork, which can last 3 to 5 years on the shelf. Freshly butchered meat is cut into portions, packed raw into jars, and cooked under high pressure. The result? Tender, ready-to-use protein that's flavorful and safe to store without electricity. Powdered milk. A cow in the cupboard. Powdered milk is the Amish answer to dairy emergencies. Properly sealed in airtight containers and stored in a cool, dark place, powdered milk can last up to 20 years. They use it in baking, creamy soups, and even homemade yogurt. Rehydrated with cold water and chilled overnight, it tastes surprisingly close to fresh milk. Jerky, nature's original protein bar. The Amish take jerky to the next level, using fresh cuts of meat and secret family recipes for marinades. Slowly dried to perfection, their jerky retains its chewiness and flavor. Stored in vacuum-sealed bags or airtight containers, it can last months or even years without refrigeration. Oats, the breakfast of longevity. Oats, a true breakfast hero, can last up to 30 years when stored properly. The Amish transfer them to sturdy food-grade buckets or mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, keeping them safe from moisture and pests. Toasting the oats before cooking brings out a nutty flavor that elevates even the simplest oatmeal. Canned fruit, capturing summer's sweetness. While store-bought canned fruit is convenient, the Amish take pride in preserving their own. Fresh peaches, apples, and berries are transformed into jars of sweetness that brighten winter meals. Stored properly, these treats can last years, making them a must-have in any long-term pantry. A harvest of preservation, secrets from the Amish kitchen. While we're scrambling to finish fresh fruit before it spoils, the Amish are busy preserving the peak flavors of the season. Their canned fruit captures summer's sweetness in jars, making August flavors available at your December table. Here's a surprising fact. When canned correctly, fruit can stay fresh for up to 5 years. Imagine tossing overripe bananas while the Amish are enjoying peaches from years ago, tasting as fresh as the day they were picked. Their pantries are like time machines, preserving the joy of summer for the chilliest winter nights. The Amish don't can just any fruit. They carefully select it at the perfect ripeness, ensuring it's flavorful but firm enough to endure the process. Peaches, cherries, pears, and plums all make it into jars, preserved to perfection. And their applesauce. It's like biting into the crispness of autumn itself. Less sugar, more flavor. Unlike commercial brands that pile on sugar, the Amish let the fruit's natural sweetness shine. Some even swap sugar for honey, creating preserves that could rival anyone's treasured family recipes. Sealed for success. Amish storage is precise. Each jar is treated like a treasure, stored in cool, dark places and checked often to ensure the seals stay intact. One bad seal means potential waste, but when done right, these jars are ready to transform into pies, cobblers, or even a simple bowl of summery delight. A community effort, canning is more than a chore. It's a tradition. Families and neighbors gather, turning the task into a shared celebration. Knowledge is passed down, laughter is shared, and by the end, everyone has jars filled with the season's bounty. Pickling with a twist. When it comes to preserving vegetables, the Amish have mastered the art of pickling. Their motto, "If it grows, we can pickle it." From green beans turned into tangy snacks to cauliflower pickled with spices, they've elevated the craft beyond basic cucumbers. Pickled perfection. Pickled vegetables, when properly stored, can last for years, outlasting the fresh produce in your fridge. And the flavors, they only get better over time. Each Amish family has a secret brine recipe, combining vinegars, salts, and spices in unique ways. Some even toss in unexpected ingredients like mustard seeds or hot peppers for an extra kick. Their pickled jars are stored with the same care as their fruit preserves, cool, dark, and orderly, ensuring every jar is as fresh as the day it was sealed. Coconut oil, a superhero in a jar. To the Amish, coconut oil isn't just for cooking, it's an all-purpose hero.
It lasts longer than most pantry staples, with a shelf life of 2 to 5 years, and stays stable thanks to its saturated fats. Whether greasing a pan, softening skin, or fixing a squeaky hinge, coconut oil is a multi-tool in their homes. Some even use it to make emergency candles. Stored in airtight glass jars and kept in cool, dark spaces, it's always ready for action. Tea, a comfort that lasts. The Amish take tea seriously, treating it as both a comfort and a cure. Properly stored loose tea can remain fresh for years, and some varieties even improve with age. They prefer loose leaves over tea bags, preserving flavors with airtight containers that protect against light, heat, and moisture. Their collection ranges from simple chamomile to robust black tea, offering a remedy for every ailment and a warm hug for every mood.
Soup that warms the soul. Amish canned soups are like edible time capsules, ready to serve up comfort in an instant. With proper pressure canning, these soups can last 3 to 5 years, far outliving store-bought alternatives. Their soups start with homemade bone broth, fresh garden vegetables, and preserved meats or beans, creating meals that are nutritious and delicious. Each jar is a pre-prepped dinner, perfect for those cold nights when cooking feels like a challenge. Spices, the secret ingredient. The Amish treat spices like treasures, storing them whole and grinding them fresh. This method preserves their potency for years, with some, like cinnamon, actually improving with age. Their spice collections include everything from peppercorns to exotic cardamom, all stored in glass jars to maintain freshness. These spices don't just add flavor, they transform simple dishes into extraordinary meals. From honey that endures millennia to soups that last seasons, the Amish have mastered the art of preserving not just food, but the essence of time and tradition. Their methods are a reminder that sometimes the old ways truly are the best.